And welcome back. Trotter Furlong is here with a preview of our next game of the week between Fort Edward and Greenwich. Great to see you, Trotter.
Good to see you.
Quite a game last week.
Unbelievable. Like I said, we've had 3 great games in a row here. Another fantastic finish here on Look TV. The Jug Game, we talked about it. Glens Falls Indians over Hudson Falls, 34-27. Game came down to the wire. Zach Infield, 30-yard touchdown to Nate Placharzik with 1:12 remaining. They kept the drive alive. There were 2 late personal foul calls, a late hit and a face mask against Glens Falls against Hudson Falls that kept Glens Falls moving the chains. You got to keep your emotions in check in these games. Late in the game, you're back and forth game. It goes either way, and you get a couple calls, and everybody's emotional over the Jug Game, and this drive stays alive, and Glens Falls finds a way to win. They win 34-27. We talked about these rivalry games. Last week, Dave was telling me, oh, it's going to be a blowout. He kind of looked on paper, oh, this team's better than that team. I know sports too well. You get games like this, they're going to be tight games. You got to come out, you got to play. Quarterback for Hudson Falls, Dalton Hogan, he threw 4 touchdowns, but he had 3 turnovers in the game. He had 8 penalties against him personally. He's a young guy. He's a young quarterback. I talked about it in games previous. This is a learning experience. These kids are playing high school sports. You grow from this point, and you learn about it. You know, you got to keep your emotions in check late in the game. And then you can't take these games for granted. They're going to be tight games. You got to come out and play every time. And I can't believe we get another great finish like this, a nail-biter at the end. But Glens Falls finds a way to win this game at the end. 34-27, like I said, you had a couple calls late. I know it's a little controversial, but calls are going to go either way, and there's a lot of things that happen in a game. You got to find a way to win, and that Glens Falls team did.
And they're keeping the Jug.
They're keeping the Jug. The Jug stays there. They haven't lost since 1997 against this team. So Hudson Falls gave a great effort. You know, they were right there at the end of the game, and it looked like they were going to pull it out, but that's how sports go. We've seen it in our last 3 games. It's come down to the last 2 minutes of the game. You got to keep playing till the end of the game, and it's tough. You know, you play these sports, take from this experience and learn from it. You know, next year, this kid's only a sophomore. He's going to be back, and he's going to have that little edge that he wants to get that Jug back into Hudson Falls.
So great game last week. Thanks for that preview. Now let's move on to the game we talked about earlier, the preview of the game between Fort Edward and Greenwich. And let me say, first of all, I'm not going to, try to pull any punches here. Not a big sports fan. My son plays Pop Warner, so I'm learning. But, obviously you have a good preview for us. I'm not going to try to make a prediction like David did on the last game, though.
He always gets his foot stuck in his mouth when he does that. I'm going to go, this is another game, another trap game. It's Fort Edwards versus Greenwich. Greenwich, all eyes are going to be on this Barnes kid. He leads the league in rushing. He has over 1,200 yards on the ground for them this year, about 1,200 yards. He scored over 160 points for them. He's the leading point getter in the league. Greenwich is ranked number 7 in the state. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They've put up 253 points in the last 5 games. They're coming in. They're playing this Fort Edward team who's 1-4. They've won 1 game, and they won it through forfeit. They have a running back, this kid, Nate Burkhart. He's had 255 yards, 156 yards, and 187 yards in his last 3 games. The kid can run the ball. This looks like a trap game either way you look at it. Greenwich looks like they're going to roll on this Fort Edward team. This kid, Barnes kid, unbelievable. But going into this game, this Greenwich team, thinking about the playoffs already. This is one of those games where you don't want to overlook this team. This Fort Edward team's going to come in. They're going to play. They got nothing to lose. You put the Tiger in the corner. He's got nothing to lose. He's going to come out at you. They're going to run some trick plays on you. They're going to be easy going. This is a loosey-goosey game for this Fort Edward team. This Greenwich team, all the pressure's on them. They got to win. Barnes has to have a good game. They're coming back. We got playoffs next week. Don't overlook this team. They're going to play them tough. But realistically, I think Greenwich is going to have the edge here, and I'm going to give Greenwich the edge in this game. And last week I solidified myself on 4-2. Barring some craziness this week, it looks like I'm going to have a winning record here on Look TV.
So do you pick a score for this game, or do
You know,
let
I'm
that
not going to go out on a limb here and pick a score. I just think, you know, if I was given a point spread, I'm going to say Greenwich by 21 in this game. And I think the Barnes kid's going to put up some points on them. He'll probably rest them in the second half. And then, you know, we're looking at playoff schedules coming up right now. So everyone's trying to make that seed for where they are going to be in the playoffs. And we're kind of looking forward to this game and then our first playoff game the following week.
Okay, great. Thanks, Trotter. We want to quickly mention, though, the boys volleyball, Saratoga boys volleyball team you coach. They have a fundraiser coming up.
Very good. The following Wednesday, the 23rd, we're doing a fundraiser from 5 to 9 over at Chipotle. All the money's going to help out with the boys volleyball with the program. Chipotle's being nice enough to donate 50% of it back. Mention that you're with the boys volleyball team from Saratoga, and I'll help with our little fundraiser. And just everything with youth sports. It's important, and like I said, good learning experience for these kids, and just a growing experience with it, and staying healthy is what we try to do here with the sports programs.
Chipotle is always great. Nice, fresh ingredients.
Organic, good.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Trotter Furlong, for this preview of the next game, look at last game. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll let David know the score that you that you picked, so we can hold you to that.
And let him know that I'll be 5-2 by next week.
Okay, thank you. And to see this interview a second time, you can head over to our website, looktvonline.com. We also have our play-by-play schedule there.